A very good evening to all of you. So here we are going to start with the current affairs session for geography. This will contain the current affairs or consist of current affairs from the last June, July to this April period. And I've included the most important of them all. We have covered many more important topics in our current affairs magazine. I wanted to go through it very, very thoroughly because here we have included only a few, just a few questions, but then I need you to go through a lot more questions that are provided in the magazine. All right. So yes, we'll start the session. So yes, this is a glimpse of the current affairs magazine that we have been covering since January 2022. And the latest magazine, which is like April, May 2023. These magazines are of high importance because we are including in them. April magazine is of very high importance because we are including in them a few current affairs questions that would probably be useful for your my examination, the upcoming prelims examination. So I want you all to go through it, the current affairs magazine. That is very important. Okay. Now, let's start with the geography question. Which of the following rivers of Europe were in use because of it drying up? See, these kind of questions, it can be seen very often. Recently, it has been asked so very often because climate change is showing the evidence is that it is indeed a reality, and a lot of rivers are drying up, and Europe is seeing its worst drought in like 500 years. So many rivers of Europe has been in use, and see here all the four rivers, and the Po River was in use. Also, Rhine River was in use. The other rivers were in use in a period of time. All of them are showing symptoms of drying up, and some of them dried up. We could see the river beds too. And that has brought in a new kind of tourism, which we do not know if we have to be really happy or sad about it, but we are definitely sad because these rivers, once lifeline of many countries like Italy, they're drying up, and the countries, they depend a lot on tourism, their water cities, and they're all drying up. So it's very sad to see. So all the four were in use. 1, 2, 3, and 4 is the correct answer. And many newspapers, they have explained and they have given high priority to this news. This is one such snip that I've taken from Indian Express, in which they have completely explained the whole matter. We have also covered in our magazine. I want you to go through that too. So these rivers that have been there, that has been in news, made headlines, they are important. So make sure that you go through that. Now the second one, see, recently Venus was in news because of Venus, the trijunction that we have seen in the sky, also because of some regions that we have found on Venus that shows volcanicity in Venus. Okay, so these are some of the sentences. There's a few information that you need to know about Venus. Here, all the four sentences are right. Venus is the second planet from the sun. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. That's how it goes. And is Earth's closest planetary neighbor. Yes, right. It's often called Earth's twin because it's similar in size and density. It's the hottest planet in our solar system, even though Mercury is closer to the sun. Basically, Earth's twin in size, but density, Earth is the most denser planet. We cannot say it is quite similar to Earth in that sense, but even then, the atmosphere is extremely different in Venus and on Earth. Okay, it's extremely different, and it's not very habitable. See, it's the hottest planet in our solar system, even though Mercury is closer, but Venus is the hottest planet. And also, Venus rotates on its axis backward, like compared to most other planets. Venus rotates backward. Okay, our planet Earth, it rotates actually from west to east, isn't it? But then for Venus, it's from east to west, the opposite. So all the four sentences here, they're right. Also, we have this snippet that I've taken from a magazine in which all of this has been very elaborately explained. I want you to go through it very carefully. Now there is another information, Landslide Atlas of India 2023, that is released by ISRO. ISRO released the Landslide Atlas of India. This is very important. And all the statements here, they are right, because we are asked for which of the statements are incorrect. None of the above are incorrect. All of them are right. See, this atlas provides details of landslides present in landslide provinces of India, including damage assessment of specific landslide location. The database covers landslide vulnerable regions in 17 states, 2 UTs of India in the Himalayas and Western Ghats. The database were used to rank 147 districts in 17 states and 2 UTs, union territories of India, for their exposure to landslides in terms of key economic, socio-economic parameters. These are all very important data, and they provided in the Landslide Atlas of India, and it is released by ISRO. It is very, very important, ISRO. So all the statements here is right. You see here, this is a snippet I have taken from ISRO's site directly. Taken it directly from there. Make sure that you go through it. Now, geological heritage state, and the state to which it belonged to geological heritage, recently 2 more geological heritage sites have been added. So that made the headline. So geological heritage becomes very important. And a PIB has given a list of geological heritages that are there in India. Here they have asked the correct choice, to find out the correct choice. So mostly 3 of them they are wrong and 1 is right. Stromatolite Fossil Park in Rajasthan. This is right. It is located in Rajasthan. But Shivalik Fossil Park is located in Himachal Pradesh. Varkala is in Kerala. And Natural Geological Arc is in Andhra Pradesh. Okay. So this is the only right one, B. Stromatolite Fossil Park in Rajasthan is the only right answer here. So that becomes our answer. B is the answer. See, this is the Shivalik Fossil Park Museum, where they have collected important fossil evidences. Now see, consider the following statements. The question is about heat dome. A heat dome is a type of low pressure system that forms over a large area in the atmosphere and causes extremely hot and dry weather conditions. Now see, it's not a low pressure system. A heat dome is a high pressure system. Suppose this is Earth, and this area, on this area, there is this blanket of air which is pushing downwards. This is a high pressure area, and this traps the atmospheric air here in a dome shape. This is called heat dome. Since the movement of earth is downwards, it's compressing the earth. The temperature is high. Okay, temperature is high, and it's not a low pressure system, it's a high pressure system. Okay, so this statement is wrong, so we eliminate D and A. Now, heat domes can cause dangerous heat waves, causing temperature to shoot up. That is right. A heat wave is a prolonged period of excessively hot weather, often accompanied by high humidity. That is also right. So 2 and 3 is the right answer here. And we have included that in one of our magazines. I want you to go through the same explanation. Now, Mahadayi River was in news because it is a source of conflict between states, Goa, Karnataka, Maharashtra. So the area is in conflict now. So that the river becomes very important. So Mahadayi River rises in Western Ghats from the Bhimgad Wildlife Sanctuary. This is very important. Bhimgad, okay, in Karnataka. A number of streams join the flow of the river to form Mandovi, which is one of the 2 major rivers that flow through Goa. That is also right. 1 and 2 is right. It joins the Bay of Bengal and Panaji. No, it joins the Arabian Sea. See, the Mahadayi River, it drains into the Arabian Sea. Arabian Sea is the west side. So it's not Bay of Bengal, it's the Arabian Sea. This is wrong. It's the Arabian Sea. So third statement is wrong and we reached 1 and 2. Make sure that you read each question very, very carefully. UPSC always gives you, if it's a hard question, it always gives you a chance to find out the loophole and come to the correct answer. So have a great presence of mind and do it properly. Now we move on to the next question. Seventh question. Consider the following statements. So it's about the bomb cyclone or bomb storm, whatever you call it. So a storm is considered a bomb when the pressure rises rapidly in the low pressure air mass, at least 24 millibars in 24 hours. This is a wrong sentence because the pressure has to dip down. It's a low pressure area. So the pressure has to go down. See, these kind of cyclones, which is mostly cyclone, these bomb storms usually turn into cyclones. There is a front, and here there is warm air mass and hot air, which is hot, and there is cold air mass. Okay, so this has high pressure and this has low pressure. What happens in bomb cyclone is that this low pressure air mass, that actually the pressure suddenly gets lower. It dips down so fast that the air from the high pressure area moves quickly to this low pressure area. So the faster this pressure goes down, the faster the movement of air. Okay, so this faster dip in pressure of the low pressure air mass and the quick movement of the wind from high pressure to low pressure, that creates a bomb cyclone. Okay, now what happens when the pressure decreases in the low pressure area? The pressure difference between the cold air mass and the warm air mass increases, isn't it? The pressure difference increases. You look at the second sentence here. This quickly decreases the pressure difference. No, it quickly increases the pressure difference. The low pressure is getting lower and the high pressure, if it stays the same also, since this is getting lower, the difference between the two is actually increasing. And that makes the wind stronger. So both of the sentences here, they are not correct and they are asking for correct answers. So neither one nor two. Okay. So we have covered bomb cyclones in one of our magazines. I want you to go through it very thoroughly. Also the eighth question here. Now, radiation fog, the first sentence. Radiation fog forms in the evening when heat absorbed by Earth's surface during the day is radiated into the air. That is right. Advection fog forms when warm moist air passes over cool surface, right? Freezing fog happens when the liquid fog drops freeze to solid surface. That is also right. See, these are all different kind of fog that was in use recently. So radiation fog, as the name suggests, is basically when the heat which is absorbed by the earth is reflected during the day. During the day, it's absorbed and it's radiated into the air usually at night. So the form that is formed then as the atmosphere cools down, that is the radiation fog. Then advection fog forms when warm moist air passes over cool surface. So when there is a cool surface, the warm moist air has this tendency to condense. So that is called advection fog. And then freezing fog is when liquid fog droplets freeze to solid surfaces. Usually the scene where the clouds, the forest and the clouds touch each other. Area, usually in mountainous areas, we see this freezing fog. And this is when the liquid fog droplets freeze to solid surfaces. Usually in the leaves and all, we can see that. So this was in use. So all the three statements are right. And here, this is a snippet from the World Meteorological Organization, WMO. And they have see here you can see different fog, freezing fog, radiation, advection, evaporation. upslope, hill fog, frontal fog, ice fog, all of that. So make sure that you just go through all these fog. Okay, also authentic websites give you clear picture, and usually UPSC depends on authentic website to take information. Ninth question. Recently, the terms Atlaregio, Zammones, and Mad Moons were in use in the context of planets, and especially Venus, because on Venus we have found this region called Atlaregio, wherein we see high volcanicity, volcanoes, and the volcanoes that make up Venus. We have seen it there. So magmoons or Zammones are all volcanoes we can see in Venus, and you see these are the regions that's a picture that's taken by the satellites. Okay, so planets. Now, yes, in which of the following states is Dibang Wildlife Sanctuary located? Dibang Wildlife Sanctuary was again in news, and it is in Arunachal Pradesh. Dibang Wildlife Sanctuary is in Arunachal Pradesh. This could be an approximate location of Dibang Wildlife Sanctuary. It's in Arunachal Pradesh. Make sure that you remember it. Now, this being the last question of the day for current affairs. Pineapple Express, recently seen in news, is it's an atmospheric river. See, what is an atmospheric river? An atmospheric river is an air mass or a set of air mass that travels in a particular direction, usually from equatorial tropical region to the poles, that contain rich water vapor that is ready to have a landfall the moment it reaches the land. Okay, so they travel in one direction. It looks like a river is flowing in the sky. It's like dense water vapor condensed in the form of the air condensed that is moving in one particular direction, ready to make rainfall. At the moment it makes a landfall, usually it moves from the tropical region to the temperate region towards the pole, and usually it is the west side of the American continent, the North American continent, that usually see the high impact. Usually gives sudden rainfall and all, and creates a flood in this region. So yes, this is a current affair that has been covered in our current affairs. So make sure that you go through this as well. So with that, we have come to a conclusion of the current affairs geography, most important questions for this year's prelims. And this is not just enough, we need more, and that more is given in your current affairs magazine. So make sure that you go through that as well. Make sure that you go through the current affairs magazine, the current affairs question bank that is given towards the last of the magazine. And I wish you all the best for the examination that's coming in this month. Study and take care of yourself. Thank you.